Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to our Pink Buff League finale featuring our Season 4 graduates, Doughboard 47 and eNinja 81. My name is Edgy Dave, and I am joined in the booth by our restreamer Escrant, our tracker Sheep Launcher, and my co-commentator Deathlike. How are you doing tonight, Deathlike?
Well, probably better than I was this morning. There's a when you get a slight headache, everything looks like a quake. But speaking of quake, there is no quake. We're starting with an edge, which of all things can be difficult in the seed. Edge. This flag set Sea Heroes on. This is the Moonveil Mixer flag set. So what that means is Edge kind of controlling the steering the wheel of our anchor, and that means things can be wild pretty easily.
Yes, it can. Funny to note that our restreamer Grunt rolled this seed and runs the entire club based around Edge, so of course we get an Edge hero.
I mean, who doesn't want chaos? This is the dream seed restreamers are looking for. The one where all our runners panic and they're kind of staring into Z's face and saying, why, or S for S-Grunt, because we still don't know what that S means.
I'm convinced the S just stands for Super Cool S Club Leader.
There's that word in Mary Poppins, like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's about the closest it can get, and that's just a good guess as anything. So I think for our objectives, we shouldn't be too bad. I mean, we're guaranteed Football Gauntlet and Golbez. Those are fun boss hunts like everyone wants to participate in. But and we have K Magnus and Forge. So this actually resembles a lot like the Lally Ho League, because I think a part of the starting kits include a dwarf set, which is always really nice. That just means you're selling half of your rune rings that you'll never ever need, so that's always nice.
I believe we. Never mind. Is that the kit that comes with a strength ring as well, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, the dwarf axe, a strength ring, a whole set for a white mage. I think wizard hat, wizard arm, wizard robe. So yeah, it's kind of a nice set. I'd like to admit.
So looking at these other three objectives, I know which one stands out to me. At the Masamune altar, combined with the full gauntlet objectives.
I mean, I rolled a seed once for that exact thing. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
And Edge is joined by the other Ed.
Let's be honest. If my thing, if Edward could equip a ninja robe, because they're both actually named Edward, but Edge is the nickname, so maybe, just maybe, he is the silent ninja for Media Seeds. So I don't think we really need to focus on Edward though. Edge probably still needs some good gear, as I think we start with C Nakey, so we'll still need to find another weapon for Edge at the very minimum, even if I don't know what the starting weapon is, but if it's a claw, that's more of an incentive to find something. And eNinja's decided, hey, I like loot. This place has high tier loot, and we're capped at tier 5 though, so but still that's more than workable. And just find a curse string.
Yeah, curse string's still useful for agility manip, not quite as useful because good luck getting Edge down to low agility.
I mean, there's some
short sword, however, and that's more useful.
Yeah. I think for Edge, it's hard to really want to use a curse ring on Edge. Even though it's a less likely thing to pick up, but maybe, these are tier 5, so we'll have to find loot in chests. is Murazame. The sword has one of the thing about that sword is -5 to agility, and it becomes kind of valuable in that sense. Not something we'll just you'll have easy access to, but if that's in the cockle shop, that is something worth picking up to kind of neutralize Edge's agility, if at all possible.
Speaking of agility, did you see the starting weapon?
I missed it. Is it a charm claw? Because that's a fun thing.
Most certainly is a charm claw, which I guess will help with the Mad Ogre chest.
I mean, it's a good claw. I mean, once you're past the Mad Ogre chest, the charm claw it loses its luster. Yeah, I mean, there might be a giant grind, a Mac giant grind, but I'm never really interested in a Mac giant grind. Those are, it's a grind, but there's just so many other better weapons available, and the charm claw is like kind of the bottom of the list. I mean, reason being is it has only base accuracy 50%, which is not it's not exciting. But I mean, if you add it with a katana, which has a 90% accuracy, generally speaking, then you're averaging out to at least 70%, and that's where you usually want to be. Where Edge really just needs one claw, really.
However, that's a Rosa sitting on Hobbs. That's the superior white mage acquired. And that full moon E-Ninja found in Watery Pass can do some work.
Oh yeah, I mean, Mylon doesn't like flying objects, so I mean, the secret is Mylon is hovering over the ground. That's what it is. You don't see it, but it's there.
As a tradition, the second swing would have done enough damage to one shot.
Dubward bumps into Blarg taking a shower, so we'll leave Blarg to do its thing.
Unfortunately, that means we don't get to see what the Witch Burn is today, because no one's going to sit through an unrequired Wyvern.
One day, Wyvern will get to sing something. I don't know what, but not this. But this flex won't really feature any other boss other than the prescribed 2 Golbez and Fubble Gauntlet. So that's it.
There's also D-Mist out there that we got to hunt for, because Kano Free is on.
Yeah, I feel like it's pseudo optional. Like if you're not having to actually required to find it, then usually D-Mist will kind of stumble into D-Mist whether you would like to or not. Although there are situations where D-Mist quietly hides in really not disgusting, but more like secret, like hiding spots, like behind package. The places where no one really
won.
Oh yeah, fun. Well, there's also Zot one once in a while.
Hook 1 on a Magma route, holding the darkness.
Yeah, so I think there's some discussion as of late regarding the appearance of D-Mist on the Force Magma route. Right now, it currently stands that we can actually spawn D-Mist kind of behind any of the 4 not D-Mist, but like kind of 4 locations. Although K-Trap's not on this flex set, but we're talking about like both the King Queen Ebla spot and Ruby spot for Force Magma, and that's I mean it's right now it could be. So even though we can guarantee a Magma key, you might have to go through the hook route, and sometimes you might as well have completed the hook route to get what you want.
Right. Question in chat: what's the worst D-Mist spot? I'm going with 65k. How about you?
65k. That spot is nasty. I think King Queen Eblin, because that's just like surprise.
That's good. That's the other really good one. One because it's hidden, the other one because it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, well, one place you usually try to get the levels to, in the Giant, you have the levels, at least ideally you do. King Queen Eblin, you're probably not at the ideal levels to take that on immediately, as it just, it comes pretty quickly, and it comes like a shock value of sorts. It's like, D-Mist shows up, surprise, and you probably and not most teams are not able to take on that. It just
That's very true. Sheep launcher. There could not have been a crystal ring at back of Hobbs.
I think Crystal Rings T.
It's 6.
Oh, that'd be the problem. Yeah, it's like a lot of the good, like a lot of the best stuff is obviously higher tier. I mean, the fundamental good stuff is tier 5. So we're talking about like ninja swords, Gungnir spear, light sword. I think defense is also on that list. So basically anything that is kind of like, and even though it's kind of also considered endgame capable, it's like kind of like the edge of endgame capable. It's not definitely not the greatest of tiers, but you for any party having fully equipped with tier 5 equipment is more than enough for a Z fight.
I've taken a party with double ninja swords and a light sword, and it takes a bit longer than if you have the big sticks, but you still get there.
So I think each ninja is found the hag at the bull, and Dumbword is finding out. Hey, it's a Jura. So I don't think there's a mute knife, but Jura at this spot doesn't have enough HP to kind of do much.
Sand Ruby from Fabul. That's a gated character check. That could be Cecil. That could be Fu. I think you gotta check that immediately.
Yeah. So a lot of this early game, you will find your 2 characters behind, one behind Baron Inn, one behind Hobbs. So having your 5th character available through a key item like package, although package can be questionable because of the sequence just to complete it. Sand Ruby is probably one of the better things to make do. Plus, it's a free heal if you really need it.
That's the free. The important part here, it's a gated character, and we have Cecil and Fu as our restricted characters in this flag set. Unfortunately, it's merely a punch mage.
That's and I would still take a punch mage. It's not. I mean, oftentimes there'll still be a decent grind going on just to get characters up to speed. Right now, we don't have any characters that direly need those. Usually we're talking about mages outside of Fu and Tella, where they're levels, like the levels dictate what spell availability they have, and that's why you refer to specific levels like level 48 for white on Rosa. So those are things kind of keep tracking on the back of your mind if you need to keep mages around.
Very true. Speaking of stuff that's good for mages, that's a heroine rope just sitting on ordeals.
I wouldn't call it good for mages. It's more like good for converting your mages into a powerhouse. That is, heroine robes are always in style, all day, every day.
I actually, with an edge hero, really like just leaving a heroine robe on a white mage. If you can get a life stack to go on them too. Yeah,
I mean, the idea is to counteract some of the penalties, as the heroine robe makes your mage less of a mage. They become more like a utility mage.
Right, because you're dealing with a super speedy hero, so speed up the mage.
I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, you don't always heal in boss fights, so all that extra agility makes Rosa or Porum or even Iridia a lot more productive. Edge.
Fortunately for Ninja, Edge decides to cure his own confusion.
Yeah, that's the safest healing that had ever happened. Sandy always the boss that is kind of you want to take down once Cindy is down, because that charm you can run havoc, especially if there's a spoon word we just saw this just a moment ago. Another confused Edge. This seed has jokes.
Delward's fine. Rosa is just raining destruction on the sisters.
Is that mute arrows or an elven?
Those are. I believe it's Archer Mute.
Always, always it's always good to have any sort of mage killing weaponry, especially for bosses. Usually comes in really handy. I mean, Azura, Mag Sisters, but Baigen, it's fine.
This is honestly not a nice ordeals.
Well, I mean, Edge can take care of the arms by himself. Thor rages, not enough damage. The base spell power of a kind of a level 1 spell is kind of it's not worth mentioning most of the time. I mean, the practical value of a Thor rage is actually for Turtle, which we did see in Baron Inn.
We see Delbord uses some darts to get through the fight, and this wants absolutely nothing to do with it.
I wouldn't. I don't blame him. Baigen in certain spots can be quite devastating. It's kind of almost equivalent to 3 Dark Imps. But the key thing is those arms can be respawned when both of them are taken down. But that darting makes quick work of Baigen, which is hey, this Baigen this early is kind of nice.
And I'll agree with that. Seeing Sisters and Baigen out of the pool, you do love to see that as a runner.
We're gonna find out what that key item is. It's probably there's 4 key item spots early on that we do, and hey, we're going to Baron soon, so might as well do that immediately after doing Baron Inn.
This will roll out very nicely for our runners.
Yeah, failed him, not a threat, and I mean, someone's people.
Our favorite doot is in action.
It'd be nice once in a while Paladin uses fast on itself. That'd be nice, but hey, everyone, it's slow is fine. So it's actually, it doesn't seem, it's not as harmful as it looks until that battle's prolonged. But it's not a threat.
So good news, our Cecils are paladins. Now we just need to go find them.
I think there was a Rydia in the shop, if not in the Baron Inn. So that will in this flag set, unlike the other flag set that's been thrown around, I think Rydia does have some value. There may be a point to at least trekking up the front side of Mount Hobbs to pick up a summon for free and hope it is worth something. I think it rotates. I think various summons, excluding Bahamut or Leviathan. I think everything else is on the table, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's correct. I think the real value of picking up Rydia in this flag set is getting her to level 12.
Oh, we're talking about warp, right?
We are.
Warp glitch is on. So once we complete the dwarf part of things, we can warp and get back behind into the sealed cave without actually being in the sealed cave. So that's always a nice thing to do.
Of course, it's always funny when you have warp glitch and then say there's a demist or one of your boss objectives hiding down there.
I mean, that's the penalty of doing the glitch indirectly. It's that you'll forget that is a thing, that bosses that you may need to hunt for are in the place that you've effectively skipped. It's good. I think I've done it enough times where you fade a place and then you completely forget it existed until, oh yeah, I forgot to do that.
Sheep, don't do it on the 1 and 3 kids. Is that some sort of musical reference that I'm too inclined to understand?
If I knew, I don't know the reference. But Dubword is doing the quickest way of getting rid of the officer is by getting rid of all the soldiers because, dude, boss is a little too chicken to fight his own battle. So that's the thing. And hey, we get underground access.
Yep.
How quite.
That is a magma key.
I think we're more incentivized to complete the Baron key right now especially for the character check.
Yeah, gated character checks are just nice. Well, we want some levels on Rydia before going underground, so we are guaranteed to have warp.
I mean, it's. I mean, doing your initial 4 key item objectives, kind of in the order of vanilla or effectively difficulty, is kind of a way of doing things early. Especially, but with an Edge, sometimes you might kind of worth juggling it around a little bit because Edge can carry the overworld by himself because of his base agility.
I see we found the Baron hat shop.
Yeah, headbands worth the time, especially worth the prices of admission because it doesn't have the greatest of stats, but that would have been useful versus a Sandy a while ago.
Unfortunately, she was guarding the shop that gives you the headbands.
Yeah, I mean, charm is kind of one of those most devastating of statuses that can be afflicted because of one of the key things about charm is say you have a Tella or a Fu, the game pretty much insta-casts any spell selected from them. So if it decided Rocks was selected, have a nice life. Rocks on party is not quite Z, it's definitely much higher than Z level power. I've had Rydia do Medio once upon a time. It's not.
Yeah, I certainly haven't had a charmed Rydia quake my party to death in the past 3 days.
No, sir. No,
it was actually closer to like a week ago, but
yeah, that's why I don't. You don't leave charm to people that can do really nasty, do really cool stuff. So, Dark Imps being the boss here, not too difficult. If I'm honest, I think in the flag set, well, either even this or the other flag set, there's no. I don't think there's free bosses, so we can't do the
there
classic.
certainly are.
Oh,
Rosa just statued a Dark Imp on Dugward's side.
Then I'm thinking of the other flag set. So okay, it's nice to have because there are times where we're confused. Do I wait for 4th Dark Wave from a DKC? That's always a question worth bearing in mind. But
no free is on in the other upcoming tournament flag set.
So yeah, it's always worth paying, and the easy proc from Dubword is once the enemy uses its turn, followed by the character with the status of ailment afflicting, it's instant. It always works, and that's how. And it's usually typically random, but in this way it's allows things like the Medusa arrows or like the Black Sword to become super effective against the monsters, or at least the bosses that do not have the boss bit.
And we'll see who has usurped the throne of Baron today. It is.
All I know is there's plenty of hats. That's all I see is hats.
Hats ever. We had a hat shop. We picked up a ninja hat. Just so many hats. Very well done, Sheep Launcher. Me, Rain.
I mean, anyone can be a king. That's what FF4 teaches us. Anyone can be king. It doesn't matter. Whether it's 3 dark imps in a trench coat or a dark elf, it doesn't matter. Anyone can be king. It's like I think you just sign up or something like that. That's it. Anyone qualifies.
So is it like a royal lottery?
Usually it's usually a usurpation of power. It's there's no lottery. It's usually it's kind of like what are those things? You just kind of fight to be the top. I mean, that's at least that's what it's been said.
Okay, so rather than a lottery, we have some sort of Highlander thing going on. There can be only one king.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yes, and yes, our real king is in the basement. Not in the castle. It's just in the basement. There is no princess. There is a real king. And
Or black.
it might be worth trading in the Rydia for that, but then your path to learning warp becomes a lot more difficult. Oh wait, that's our 5th.
We only have 4 characters. We're fine.
Okay, well,
We're saved by the king and Stone Dust.
Well, when this permit death on, and you defeated Z, that's what your character becomes. They become something. They become kind of a strange mist. It's something.
Yeah, that's some direction for when we get underground.
Yeah, I mean, picking up the magma key, not though Dubward's not peeking the spot, which is understandable. It's typically a difficult spot, but Pan turn-in will probably be done pretty quickly, maybe delayed a bit. At least the Sif's Cave, not an exciting place to visit, but we kind of need 3 potential key items from that whole sequence. Usually worth doing, especially with this early in the seed, where picking up more key items to kind of move forward, especially with the darkness crystal still at large.
Could get the tower key from there too, so you can single dip tower.
Oh yeah, but I like keyless tower. Those it's a lot of fun. It's actually a fun ride, especially when the key is at the top of keyless tower, because because the game likes doing that to you.
Let's see where our runners go. Dubward going straight to Tamra.
Yeah, I think. Well, there's some looting to be done. Who isn't gonna visit Job Dwarf? It's part of the meme.
Ooh, Job Dwarf has a thankless job today.
Yeah, that's how you pay off college. A little bit, briefly, and it's not. That's also probably not a fun job, because you end up grading papers that you weren't responsible for.
And you gotta deal with college students.
That should be the bonus. Huh? And hey, if you wanted to outfit any of your mages, the armor shop had it all: a tiara, heron robe, rune ring.
Remember what I said about being able to get the tower key, so you just do a full dip? Solstice had it.
I mean, nice and convenient. Tower is on the way back out, so it's not. That's a nice place to be when that happens. Although I am less excited. Maybe not. Well, runners might not be excited at all. As what is at Feymarch, because Feymarch can be at large given what's there. I mean, there's still plenty of nasty bosses on the table. I think recently I've partaken in a Val and Evil Wall, and that was those were fights I didn't want to take part of at all.
Feymarch freebie, not terribly useful. We've already got 2 of those. Coffins are nice.
I found it like in chests. This is in the randomizer. Like sometimes a lot of things repeats a little more often. Like just like the seed has decided everyone, yes, strength rings for all. Like, and you get like 10 of them for reasons beyond my understanding. But hey, the seed is consistent, and hey, I'm more than willing to sell all of them.
True, they sell for, is it 5,000? Or they're 15. So they sell for 7,500.
Yeah, it's still some value. I don't.
That's a very doable Feymarch right now, especially for Dubbard, who picked up a Leviathan summon.
Yeah, we know that these are the Baron guards, and these are both bosses. Well, at least half of the dolls don't have the boss bit, so it's actually very takeable. I'm not sure what level Rydia is, but if Rydia has reached level 13, Toad is on the table, and that will cripple the back row dolls, and that makes for a very, very easy fight. And that also, I think you can also Toad the Baron guards as well.
Why Toad him? Chuck 2 coffins and end the fight.
I mean, a lot of the J items typically are, offensive, but they also the most effective ones, I guess, don't required that the bosses don't have the boss bit. We're talking about coffins, although I don't think we can buy grimoires, but those are. Like, they're just like hourglasses. Yeah, there's just so many items, and Dubbard has finally faced the inventory boss, though.
Dubbard's gonna go get his tower key and set up shield 1 and 2. Ninja, however, is gonna show us Dwarf Castle.
It's interesting, not doing the fights. I mean, I think the risk of it is that you still have to you have to kind of take the punches to get the spell off, or at least at least an item off. Like,
that's very true.
And if you're not confident in be able to survive it and like at least be able to get the items off, then or the spell off, then it may be worth doing later when you have a few more levels. I mean, there's no rush to do it unless you think that your opponent is going to like overtake you by aggressively doing it. Right? And so it's
funny enough, that curse string I think makes the guards nice and easy. You can curse string Edge. You can put a heroine robe on Rose that gets her to RA1. You just need to get someone else to 2.
Yeah, Rosa is like, especially with the heroine robe available, there is a lot of value into having a character about, especially with Edge, having someone as fast or faster than Edge kind of helps out. You still at least have basically another character viable for trying to even out the disparity, kind of turn disparity, as Edge usually the anchor kind of dictates how fast your other characters go. So if you, usually when you're thinking of anchor, you should typically want the anchor to be as slow as possible. So all your characters faster than the anchor will have their turn. Don't worry less about the anchor itself, but everyone else gets a turn. But when the anchor is super fast, then relative agility kind of affects them, as it depends on their agility versus the anchor, and having an Edge is typically super fast, so this always makes for a difficult choice.
That's not the Grimoire rule you wanted. The Grimoire rule you wanted, Ninja.
that's yeah.
Well,
Let's,
they actually did the worst possible Grimoire roll.
yeah, you have the monster that absorbs it, and then the alert that has maximum magic defense. Yeah, that combination can work once in a while, but that is.
And Doggo just guns just bang 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 down the party.
Yeah, I think with the alerts, the trick of it is trying to get rid of the alert in one hit.
And looks like E-Ninja hadn't saved since doing Baron Castle.
That's very unfortunate. That's a lot of. I don't know how. This is definitely probably before even putting down the magnet.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of time. This is, yeah. There is a thing to early save often, and this is one of those times where you don't know how last time you've saved, and especially this early. That is a lot of time. So it's unfortunate.
We do see a package from Sheila 1 and Sheila 2 with half a forge. So Sheila had some sort of goods.
I mean, they're not the goods we're really looking for, but they're nice. I mean, forge is a requirement. And getting edge, that means I think we have access to what 3 different weapons at least.
You got the Sasuke's Katana, the Mutsunokami, Rising Sun, and a scrap metal in his pool.
Oh, scrap metal. I thought that was a paladin thing, but the scrap metal is funny. It's
it comes from Cecil's trial.
Yeah, it's junk to be thrown. I mean, why don't we have? Why not throw junk at people? That's a way of doing it, right? Throwing useless junk at your enemy. Yeah.
Isn't that how you fight?
But well, it's not. I think that junk is actually much more useless. Like even like the short katana or something, they still have some value. Strangely enough.
Oh, Arifist scrap metal is very much real. It shows up in Supersmith every so often. It's I believe 4 power dart.
It tickles bosses. That's what it does. And it's funny when you receive it. It's like the seed.
It shows up in the Game Boy Advance version if you do everything wrong you possibly can in Cecil's trial.
Hey, I would prefer a Flandango instead, because Flandango.
Got the best name. Why wouldn't you?
So,
are you like me and every time you pick that up, you give a little scaramouche?
A little, at least in my head. Because that's how strangely enough, you associate a song with a certain phrase. It's like it plays in my head. It doesn't go away. It's funny how that works. It's interesting that Dubward is going to try to take a look at Eblin Castle, hoping to maybe get some Hanzo Steel on Edge. I don't think Edge so far has found anything of true value at the moment.
It's also interesting to note, the No Adamant's flag is not on in this flag set. So we could get some big armor out of here.
Yeah, so that's kind of a reflection of the Adamant Cup, because everyone wants an adamant. You get an adamant. You get an adamant. The one thing about the adamant, I think, in this flag set is it's not unless you need the hero to be able to tank things, like you want the hero to be alive. There's very, very rare circumstances where you want your hero to actually have the adamant, as again the hero is the anchor. So when your anchor is fast, you're gonna make life more difficult for the rest of your party.
All right, hear me out on this. 70 agility anchor, just be faster than Zeromus.
Yeah, good luck. I would pay, but that also means you have an edge hero, which also means steal. You might want to pick up a few silk webs. Like pick up a siren from stealing from the alerts, and then use the alert to steal from the centipedes. There's certain areas in the underground where you trigger a centipede with the siren, and then steal from them a silk web, just in case silk webs don't exist in the seed. That is probably the safest way of making that combination exist happily.
Very true.
I think in this flag set, it's more incentive to have a silk web, especially with Edge as the hero.
Well, because you can't guarantee slow anchoring, which is part of what makes this flag set interesting. It makes Z fights less solved when you can't just make them perfectly predictable.
Yeah, I mean, you have to consider that vanilla. When you consider the vanilla game, that Cecil is the anchor in most fights. I think there's like the water hack fight where Edward is the anchor, but otherwise when Cecil's the anchor, you kind of know through playing, if you've played vanilla, that he controls everything. So so there'll be characters faster than Cecil like Edge and Kane, and there'll be characters slower than Cecil like Rydia and Rosa. So when Edge is typically the fastest and is going to dictate how bosses react, you kind of need every edge, for lack of a better pun, to make the bosses a lot more tenable. It's just you just can't let bosses run one wild because of the anchor.
I would like to call out Delbert getting the light glitches off correctly on those ogres for some nice extra XP, and getting an angry stick from the Mad Ogres.
Can't say no to angry stick, but on the other hand, there is no angry stick wielder. So I mean, still a good dart nonetheless.
And I got Stillman Skull, a nice Stardust, I think sweeps the skulls.
I think it's on the edge. It's not doing enough. I think the RNG might make it work, but I mean, if you had like the big bomb J item, it's practically guarantees they go down.
Okay,
so.
It doesn't sweep. This flame, however, will.
Yeah, the classic. The reason why you even bother with an edge is just for this fight alone. Getting rid of the skulls in one shot. It's not nice. Flame does have quite a lot of early utility. It doesn't do quite a bit of damage, but just enough to like even take on a gauntlet.
Go find the guy. You have the stick.
How many distinct characters are there? I don't even remember. It's like
everyone.
It's everyone. So
there's no restriction on characters. Well,
but we have to find
no banned characters, but Cecil and Fu are in the restricted pool.
That shouldn't. I mean, like we have this kind of stumble onto them. I mean, something like a Zot play would increase the chances of those sticks being wielded.
I could see a dwarf play right after this. If you have the stick, go do your character checks.
Yeah. I mean, this character check also provides a key item, and then Warp Lich enabled. That means the second key item potential. So, with Rydia having Leviathan, it'll definitely speed up the seat quite significantly. With Rydia having, Rydia really dependent on summons. This is, if you don't have the summons, getting Rydia to nuke can be a chore.
And the last chest gives us money. Or chocobo food.
I mean, if you want to dominate a seed, I am told you feed the big chocobo a crystal sword. That's what I'm told. You can choose to believe it.
I think our runners would have rather had either of the other two tier 8s from that last chest. Excal just being a fancy dart.
Yeah, Xcal, unlike the crystal sword, is a dart. So it'd be nice the crystal sword was a dart, but for reasons that the game just has decided, no. The strongest sword can't be thrown away by Edge, no matter how you wish it.
No, the Lamia 2 Black Cat fight is not alive. Look at me. My cats use Hug rather than Bluster.
But wouldn't you be petrified of your cats? That's a Hug joke.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, that's black cats. I always find the black cats to be just for 600 HP monsters. The fact that they have 50-50 chance of to kind of offing any random character is that's always been the scary proposition when it comes to any of the. The skulls and Staleman are also pretty strong because there's just so many of them, but the black cat is always the black cat. Oh, it's kind of a scary proposition when you fail to kill it the first try.
That there. Ninja swords for sale. Those seem good.
I always find that ninja swords are disproportionately more expensive than everything else because you actually need a second one to make the most of it. Edge, while he is effectively the second strongest melee character, it could be maybe third, but if you consider Yang at high levels, but with weapons, you need you need a pair of katanas, or at least pair of weapons on him that is very effective, and at least for him, attack power scales quite a bit with more strength as the strength bonus that every normal character gets. It's kind of doubled for Edge. It's kind of unique in that way.
We see karate at the first spot in Dwarf. And Radiant's car wash is now open for business.
It's a nice car wash. When the summon does the work for you, it's a good day. It's interesting. Dumpert doesn't have much love for Edward or Palom. Maybe just at some point will kind of might be painful if there are no replacement characters. Right now, Dubward's definitely hoping for Cecil to stop by and show up.
That's an objective, though. Second spot in Dwarf.
It at least gives Edge a moment to use Flame on all the things.
And Ninja through the guards, just tosses 2 coffins, and he's out.
Wow.
Look the darkness.
That's a find. That's worth. Yeah, can't fade march this one. But this was interesting. Dubward has replaced Palom with Porum. That is the thing I don't rarely see, because I always find Palom to be Quake Kid, and Quake Kid being fairly effective, but really having Leviathan reduces the need for Quake Kid. So I guess that makes sense.
Chat pointing out it could be for sirens, or for stealing sirens.
Oh, well, this is Bonnie and Clyde, where Porum plays the role of Bonnie.
That's a good reference.
Hey, There's only so many references I have. Not that many, but when I do hit on it, it happens. It's always a fun combination to see Porum and Edge kind of do their own thing. Because in vanilla you normally don't even have them together in a party, so it never comes up. Here we have that combination does have a value. So especially when you want to steal all the Bacchus wine from Mad Ogres or Sirens from alerts. I mean, that is a lot of value.
Was that Silverhammer drop we just got?
Yeah, I think it's from the armadillos or the turtles. I can't remember. It's one of those things where we're too late for that. I mean, this like Vanilla Sid would have had an Earth Hammer at this point, but yeah, it's a free hammer. It's still money.
Okay, that was just the uncommon drop from them.
Yeah, they don't steal. I think it's the armadillo that you do the silver shield. And,
that is chart.
And it's the best steal if you want any mage character to have a shield on, but that requires a bug to exploit a bug, because Final Fantasy IV, well-programmed game where you can give any character shields, or maybe if you can actually get an Earth Hammer from Staleman, because that is what they actually drop, and you can steal from them.
I think my personal favorite steal is Star Veils.
Yeah, if you want to do that from an Evil Mask, sure, that's a lot of fun.
Just steal from an Evil Mask, easy, right?
Easy, yeah. When they have like they're level 90 and steals based on the level of Edge. I mean, if Porum cries enough, I guess it's viable.
We're just getting all the drops today. And we're getting an objective on the board. Is the Wool Gauntlet down?
Yeah, for Bull Gauntlet in some spots, pretty tame. This is pretty tame. I mean, the highest HP targets are the Black Lizards, which have like 700 HP. So, Flame takes care of doesn't always completely take care of the turtles and armadillos, but you have Rydia. She'll solve everything else.
Let's see, what is Dwarven fashion today? A rat tail. Why? Okay, we've been either one. It's fine.
Worth it. The ether one didn't get used. Perfect.
It's a pass. I'm fine with that.
It also means probably will be fading whatever boss is at the sealed cave spot, the evil wall spot. So, but maybe I'm sure the runners are hoping, or at least Dubward's hoping. There is no ha man there, or Demist. I don't think we've seen Demist yet.
No, we did. Did we? No, we haven't seen Demus yet.
So Dubward is gonna do the Feymarsh bosses, which should be too difficult. E-Ninja is doing top up, not keyless tower, because hey, we do have the tower key. So see this 600 less than 600 HP spot. Oh, it's a Mylon, and I think this has friends. So yeah, that's a ton of HP. That's 600 large HP sum of 600. Oh yeah,
the super cannon room. The super cannon room was being reserved for a zombie dance party. We crashed it.
No disco ball, fortunately. But yeah, shouldn't be too long. Looks like J item's gonna be just there to finish it because there's not. I mean, you can only split so much HP out of 600, and my launch would probably have it at most like 500. I don't know. The HP split is based on the standard ratio that the normal boss fight would have had. So I don't remember what the difference is, but I definitely know that the undead part, they don't have quite a bit of HP at all. So the Mylon carrying probably like the bulk of it, like 80-90% of it.
Ooh, that's a number. Eddie, you're not walking that off.
No, just take a nap, Eddie. That's okay. Yeah. I do think that Dumbward will probably want to find an Eddie replacement. I almost thought like Eddie would have been replaced first. Maybe holding out hope for a spoon soon enough.
Very possible. That's very likely. I think Eddie's HP bar is still going down after that hit. It was 2,900.
Yeah, those are numbers. Leviathan spot punches super hard because one, Leviathan doesn't punch normally, and two, because it doesn't get bounced. Kind of like King Queen Evelyn spot. The punches are pretty hard. So yeah, that's kind of why when you're surprised at a spot's punchiness, it's because it's probably an all magic spot typically, for at least for the boss.
And the reverse is true as well. Spots that don't use magic or that have a status ailment that they really wanted to have land, they'll do bad things to you with magic.
I mean, I think you're probably thinking of like say the Evil Wall spot that has a lot of magic. Surprisingly, a lot of magic.
I was thinking the Masa Ultra that we're still looking at.
That is also, yeah. I mean, it's designed to guarantee that the Ogo's big wave lands, but you don't need that much. You don't need that many multipliers. But yeah, it's a lot of the kind of the end game bosses kind of super overscaled for such a thing. So it's one of those you can't ignore it.
We see Dumbward is going right into the Calbrania at Queen. I think we just take the dolls to the car wash and end it. We also have a Bahamut sitting atop a tower.
Yeah, that's a pretty free battle. Although if the DPS doesn't come through, it's still gonna hurt with this low HP party.
But unfortunately, these dolls were not, in fact, machine washable.
What? This not machine washable? I want a refund. I want a refund.
And hey, that's what we were holding out for.
And surprise, it's a spoon. But that also means that Edward is behind the 8-ball in levels at the same time.
That's what sirens are for. And she pointed out that's number 10. So yeah, go get some sirens. Go get all the levels.
Yeah, I don't think we've found a source of sirens to buy. So at this given point, stealing sirens going to be a thing.
And Bahamut.
Yeah, I think kind of like playing with your food. The Bahamut spot, the Dr. Luque spot has a lot of HP combined, and they're just so the boss is just tanky, relatively speaking to the bosses in other areas. The problem is, and while the spell power thing is at a spell power multiplier of 2, that is still more than enough to pretty much wipe the party out. So this is kind of one of those you can't just kind of sleep on your laurels. And also Edge doesn't help here in this fight. He kind of normalizes the speed, so those star veils didn't last as long as they would have been.
Very good point. Also, unfortunately, we will not be seeing an antlion on the moon today.
What? No, no moonline. What is this?
Antlion has decided to take a vacation and is sitting on the hook route.
So disappointed in you, Antline. So disappointed in you. What? Why can't you be the meme we were hoping for?
Antlion can't meme all the time.
That is also true. So, so right now, when we're in the tower, we have the darkness crystal. I almost feel, I mean, I don't think we've found a source of hourglasses this year either. So maybe we may need to consider like do a grind here, or maybe or maybe do an egg grind here before going to the moon. This I think the levels will benefit the characters quite a bit, especially E-Ninja with Quake Kid still on his team.
And now we have some nice dueling blargs. How much does this spot have? Like 20-ish thousand?
Yeah, it's definitely 20,000. There is. I mean, I mean, there's like 4 bosses to chew through. There's the standard Dr. Luge Bulb Z, which is the fused form of Dr. Luge and Bulb, and then there's Dr. Luge, the second fight. So yeah, that's a real
fight, as Luge would call it.
I mean, he has a lot to say. Let's just put it that way. He does have a lot to say.
And he is Dr. Monologue.
Would have been interesting, because Edward's still in Dubward's party. Maybe like hiding Edward and getting Edge the extra reflect, because that's essentially a Star Veil saved. Not sure if our runners have been shopping, but I think Star Veils are still on the table for this flag set.
They are. They're guaranteed on the overworld somewhere. We did see the Earth Crystal come from top tower, so that's an objective for our runners once they go to Zot.
Yeah, probably hoping to pull a Cecil from Zot. There's 2 character checks, so that's, and especially with the source of Burr that is kind of burning a hole in our runners. At least for Dubward. I forget if E-Ninja's done Eblin, but
E-Ninja's not.
Yeah, but having another character to replace Edward, as E-Ninja has not done the dolls for the spoon, so that may be an incentive to kind of ditch Edward if at all possible for E-Ninja.
Right. We know those dolls aren't going to be required. It's just a nice power upgrade.
I think we haven't found the Luca key, but since the warp glitches are already in play, and we know at the end of that is a pass. Is E-Ninja done? Has E-Ninja done Dwarf? It doesn't seem like it.
I don't believe so.
Because replacing, say, the Edward with a Porum would probably be somewhat beneficial. I mean, this seed is filled with heroin robes. You can also buy them if that is even needed.
Oh, this is a double required tower. That's the Adamant Rock. We're gonna get 2 Forges.
Yay! Well, but I'm rooting for scrap metal. Is that even? I'm still trying to remember. Is that actually?
I think that's an Edge's pool.
So, Yes, scrap metal, scrap metal, scrap metal.
Yeah, our restreamer S Grunt runs an Edge Hero Club, so it's probably run into scrap metal a few times.
Hey, remember that weapon I was speaking about? That Murazami? That is that's
it.
like a natural cursed ring. So that, and we get another katana because hey, why not?
Okay, is that the really good katana or just the somewhat good one?
Somewhat good one. The Mutsu no Kami is the good one because it also well it has better base attack power, but free blink is also nice. Dopper is looking to sell the farm, but looking for what part of the farm to sell.
Full Moon can go, yeah, just sell the Heron Robe.
So, well, I think we appraise the virtues of the Heron Robe. I think the from a late game's perspective, you kind of want to get your mages off the Heron Robe for the simple. I mean, unless you get the life staff or even maybe the silence or lunar staffs, because you really want to not kind of you don't want to kind of reduce the effectiveness of white if the white mage ever learns it. So I mean, there have been races I've seen where you see like a heroine robe Rydia and her summons become less than effective, and that's probably due in part with the heroine robe. That yeah, she could cast faster, but on the other hand, her spells not really not as effective.
And it looks like Ninja's done stealing Sirens and also picking up a big bomb from that chest.
Oh, that's how nice. That they give you a J item that you probably won't need anymore. That's, you know, I don't think I've seen like I remember seeing you know when, after like getting a key item you get hey here's a cure 3 potion. How about that? There's this. I mean, can't always rely on after a chest or a boss where the item is gonna be worthwhile. I mean, you're gambling for it, but you can't guarantee any of that.
And double showing us the stats on the katana. Agility, vitality plus 10, so we're gonna have a speedy ninja.
I was kind of would have thought would have been helpful to buy one of the Murazames, because at least to counteract some of that extra agility bonus. It's kind of not one when you want to. You don't want to speed things up unnecessarily, and so. But right now the bosses at Zot aren't going to be a threat, at least on paper.
To answer question chat, yes, this is Edge Hero.
Yeah, when Edge is the hero, chaos ensues. That's all. I mean, nicest hero would be like a Tella maybe, or maybe a Rydia Palom hero, but no Orb. Can we throw the spoon? Oh no, Edward has it, so can't do it.
Could we just say, here Ed, hold the spoon above your head and dart Edward?
I mean, the visuals could happen. No, it would be cool, but a certain Spoonward fan would raise their hands and yell at the screen. So I don't know. I mean, I could imagine it though.
And we see that the Dupta seed is in fact Porum.
Do we need second Porum? That's a real question.
Does anyone need second Porum?
No, but it's still funny. But hoping that Cecil's on the other end, but there's still plenty of other heroes that we have not seen.
Well, that's a wielder for the angry stick if we want to take him.
To be fair, it's better than a lot of the other options on the table. So, might eat the Porum though.
The Kane's a more interesting decision, and decides no.
I guess it's all right. It's too late. It's too late for Kane. I mean, would be at this point it would be kind of a pseudo second grind. Slingshot would be on though because as long as you have 5 characters, and if the character is 5 levels under the median, the middle of all the levels in the party, then that character will get double XP. So I think, getting Kate up to speed wouldn't be too bad. We still have a moon to clear.
And we see Ninja following Double up Zot. Ninja's made up some time.
Yeah, that awful reset, forgetting to save. Still at least catching up. Probably skipped a few things like Dwarf, although that pass probably would save quite a bit of time. It's not the difference.
Well, +1 objective is also kind of nice from there.
Oh yeah, the football gauntlet, and then the other piece. There's
the good news. The good news for Ninja is he's going to figure out that gauntlet at Dwarf as soon as he gets done up here.
Yeah. Seen Water Hag earlier in the seed, so it becomes self-evident. Second blue robe is the robe that you probably are looking for.
And first, we're going to Petadoggo.
It's actually Flame Dog is pretty tame. Although when you have a low enough level or HP, the dog can be threatening. We're talking about really early game, but
that's a useful item.
It is the name. It is the name of the flag set. There are super punchy bosses, and Moonveil pretty much kind of erases their existence. You don't have to worry about anything if a boss punches only. And
these ice twos are gonna tickle.
Tickle? More like it's gonna be the Ice Age for a few characters. The Odin spot has a surprising bit of magic power, as the kind of the Odin spell, the Zenzuken, the kind of it's not the same as the summon, strangely enough, but it does a lot of damage when he gets around to it.
Yeah, this would be a good spot to use a Starveil if you have one.
Yeah, you don't really consider using Starveil against Leviathan, but when the Ice 2s actually hurt, you can't do that. But this is on Noodle Crime, so it's funny. It's very amusing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very soggy down here.
This is the basement. I'm surprised the basement isn't actually flooded. It's so. Leviathan is kind of doing his own thing, and it hurts. The big wave isn't the threat, even though I think it just wiped Rosa after being revived. The big wave eating 1/4 of the maximum HP of the character. So when they're already crit, which is kind of denoted by the kind of crouching down, that they're pretty much dead afterwards. So and hoping that Berserk helps out.
I think this Leviathan kills. Yep.
I mean, it's once in a while you can do blarg on blarg crimes, and that's a lot of fun.
Would you like more Hanzo? Here you go. Dumbward says no.
I mean, do you want to increase Edge's agility even more? That's what it's
Don't
saying.
threaten me with a good time.
But it might make a lot of the whatever's on the moon much more dangerous. I'm starting to think, is it even worth equipping the Sasuke? Like, the agility boost is nice, except Edge is the anchor. I would have thought just buying just even a copy of the Mura would be at least enough.
It is a 93 or 95 power weapon, something like that.
Yeah, that's. I think actually, don't. They mean even the Rising Sun. I think is like a massive agility upgrade. It's like of all the things. I mean, then like the Super Smith Ninja options. It's like how to make Edge go even faster. Like how much more zoom can he go?
Yeah, Edge go new. That's pretty much the Super Smith description.
So, but I think both the runners have a curse string, so that might still be something that will be used in like desperation if the bosses do kind of are unmanageable. Yeah, Masa of the vanilla weapons is definitely Edge's best. But Super Smith is nice for many characters. I think the only character that doesn't really benefit as much, surprisingly enough, would be Cecil.
So, do you remember if we still have that Thunder Claw that we found?
I remember. I don't. I mean,
asking for a friend. I mean, both of our runners.
I don't think it's at this spot. I think Oda will still be fast, but the spell power at this spot isn't as high. But it'll still be low enough to get rid of, to wipe Edward. But I mean, might not be that high. So looks like Dumbward's saying no, maybe later. Okay. Probably not what the levels.
Ninjas decided I'm at 10 key items. Let's take a grind now. I want power.
Yeah, especially with Porum at base level, and both Porum and Game, taken both from Zot. I mean, they definitely need the level, so this makes a lot of sense to do.
And we have some delicious moon wine.
Moon wine. I mean, there are times where when you already hit like at Ninja's case where there's two white mages, the moon wine probably not as necessary, but I think Dumbward's party situation, it's just the moon wine will probably benefit him more.
And Moon Paladin.
That hole.
Yes,
burning?
Please get in here.
Yeah, someone has to get yeeted. That's the fact of life.
Yeah, and getting a grind on Cecil here is super easy. Just kill whatever's at the ribbon room. If it's not split XP, that Cecil gets 400,000 XP immediately. That's we're almost ready levels.
Right. I mean, but would have to be the first fight though.
You're looking for key items anyway. It's not a terrible play.
It's true. Probably I'd rather risk going for other altars first, but hey, eventually all roads lead to ribbon room for the maximum XP gained. It's an interesting choice. I might even agree with Edwards yeeting Iridia as ideally don't want to spend the time getting her to level 50 to learn nuke. That's
fair.
It's just too long. When your party's constructed with Riding, like maybe in the party from the beginning, probably one of those things you go, okay, we'll kind of commit to Iridia, get her to level 50, and end game it's fine. This is so understandably you don't. Having a second alternative would have been yeeting Porum. You don't necessarily need a second white mage, but hey, always good to have safety in numbers sometimes.
That's true. And yeah, Ninja, knowing there's a blue robe waiting in second spot here, is going right in the dwarf. Oh wait, Cecil comes free back road. How nice.
Back row glitching, one of the classic things to do. And usually want to deal with it early. Especially for mages who typically don't have the best of weapons. If you want them to bonk all the things, getting the back row glitch is a kind of a must. The back row glitch being that equipping a back row compatible weapon such as a bow and arrow will permanently set the back row bit, and because it's designed so well that it doesn't get removed at all ever.
Right, this flag set we have not turned that glitch off. In fact, I think the back row glitch is enabled in both flag sets.
Yeah, it is, I think. So we don't. I think it's always fun.
This is not what you want to see here if you're trying to get XP on Cecil.
Have a good night.
This is like the opposite of what you wanted to see here.
You can still revive Cecil at the end, but getting there is, I think, the question.
True.
Is the problem.
And we're through. The third wave can't kill Edge here. Hey, very well done managing that, or managing a surprise DKC.
Compared to a lot of the DKC spots, this is not as punchy as a lot of other spots. It didn't clear 1,000 damage, and there are other nastier spots which will guarantee this. So this is nice
and
relative.
41 levels.
He's Cecil Z ready. That's all you need to know. Z ready. That's for a Kane and Iridia that got yeeted. Ninja emptying out the inventory, at least to avoid the inventory boss grimoires. Good for regular fights. So that's. There are times where you can try to be cute with certain boss fights that have like the bosses without the boss bits, but yeah, but then there's the moment that it summons Odin or Chocobo, and then you're wondering why.
And now with a whole lot of levels in hand, let's go do an objective.
Yeah, this Masa altar. Well, there are still a few nasty things that could possibly be on it, like Golbus for one. There's still, I don't remember other magically inclined bosses that are on the table, but Golbus would be the top of my list.
Well, that's one that doesn't care about the big stick.
It kind of resists the holy part of the big stick, but that's fine. We've got Edge, we've got a Thunderclaw. Edge will smash all the things. But I think the Edward's Edward not getting enough levels. I mean, I know Spoonward is a thing, but if you still have to kind of need Edward at a reasonable threshold to survive even first Big Bang, the nerfed Big Bang, especially, and that often can be quite difficult with Edward's low HP growth.
Right, Eddie needs to get up to about, what, 50-ish before it becomes reasonable?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like probably around at least 1,000 HP, and I think at least apples will drop occasionally, so that can help. But like sometimes I've seen like Z fights with Edward kind of go a certain way because you have to keep him upright and berserk to kind of make the most out of him, and that can cause other problems down the line sometimes.
It does appear that we've got Eddie up, we got him blinked, so Eddie's nice and safe right now.
Yep. I mean, that's the reason why you carry 2 white mages is Blink and Berserk, and then you don't even need to buy the items. It's the nicest part of having 2 white mages.
It turns out Blink really, really good in this game.
I mean, when it guarantees misses from physical hits, I mean, that's all it needs to say. That's all it needs to be said. I mean, magic is another thing, but Blink, especially with most bosses, just love punching all the things. I mean, Blink is kind of a staple of white mage. I mean, even Tello has that learned on his base character. This tells you how powerful that spell is.
Yeah, 8 MP to say no to the next 2 physical strikes.
Moonveil Moonveil. I think we've seen picked one up. Is effectively a perma blink.
Is this even?
I don't know. Someone likes to play with vanilla. That's what it reeks of. All the vanilla.
So would you like even more power on your edge? Or your edge to go Neum even more? Here you go.
Yeah, and I think both our runners have at least picked up some Sirens and may have. I don't know. I see some Silk Webs on Dubward, so that safety net is there for at least for Z, and maybe for another boss that will kind of make lives miserable. So you definitely gotta have some backup Silk Webs just in case something goes horribly wrong.
And White Spear Ultimate's got our comedy van.
This spot surprisingly not as threatening. I think it's probably because of its spot is bugged and what the spell power sets. So I don't believe Golbez's spell power is much of a threat on the spot. I think it's naturally the spot actually has quite a bit of spell power, even though doesn't have not too much use for plague, but has some value. So, but Golbez is fine. This shouldn't be too bad.
Let's see. Yeah, Golbez gets 2 rolls here. Ninja finding the spoon from Dolls. Unfortunately, has already yeeted the Edward.
I mean, still get Edward back. All characters that you yeet typically go to the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia, so you can definitely pick up characters you yeeted if you so desire. But most of the time when you've yeeted the character, you have no intent of getting them back. Normally, this also typically used for changing anchors, but since Sea Heroes on, there is no practical use. The only other time you actually want to pick up a character from the Tower Wishes is like their base level, and then you want to slingshot them all the way to whatever level you need them to be.
And just give you an idea of what the spell power is like here. That was Edge just casually shrugging off a lit 3.
Yeah, again, no, there's no spell power worth speaking of here, so it's tickling. Cecil was on the moon dais, where Fu usually comes in vanilla. So, it's nice given that all the power, I think, all the burr was in a Castle Alblin trap chest.
It was. You had both the big shiny stick and the angry stick from there.
That was base spell power lit 3. That was beautiful, but still not enough HP on Rosa from the revival to survive that.
And our item from here, I don't mind a pre-crystal ring.
Crystal rings are a super valuable in this flag set. And I think anything to increase, to kind of catch up to Edge, or at least kind of overpower your anchor in terms of agility, is actually invaluable. So I think in this if a crystal ring is available, it will probably be purchased in mass, except for the anchor. Mind you,
unless you want a fast anchor, and then which in your case you just buy 5 of them.
There are also other more uses of the crystal ring, mostly being uncontrollable status protection. We're talking about charm, sleep, paralysis,
right,
and dragon protection, which always handy.
But it is still 20 defense. That's not a negligible number.
It's actually better than the Protect Ring, because Protect Ring relies on Vitality. If you're like Cecil at high levels, you're capping at Vitality pretty easily. This is raw defense, and so it's a lot. It's surprisingly a lot. It's like it's not quite Glass Helm, but it's quite up there.
And we have Mom Bomb sitting at Pale Dim spot.
And Mom Bomb sharing a lot of HP with the smaller bomb. So this Pale Dim spot has a decent amount of HP, but you probably have to eat through about this more or less the same amount it is to normally fight this spot, I think. Maybe a little bit less. So probably will want to berserk all the things though.
Yeah, with this damage output, we're not seeing the explode. That is Ed swinging for 3,000, Cecil swinging for 5.
I mean, considering that agility isn't an issue right now. I mean, yes, it normally is, but we're not. Or I think it's. I mean, the fight is pretty manageable. Except Porum takes a nap. It's it's not too much of a concern. Z fight notwithstanding. I mean, bosses that you're not too concerned about them punching or obliterating you. I mean, agility anchoring can sometimes be overrated when you've reached a certain amount of power.
That is go mode for our run for Dubward.
I mean, who can say no to music on your way out?
And it routes nicely. Do Twin Harp, just casually saunter back over to Troy and go through the fast door.
That is it. I mean, it is nice. Convenience of all things.
You see Ninja, having cleared out the blue planet, is heading to the moon himself. We'll see if he decides to take the Cecil. I don't believe Ninja has any of the sticks.
Kind of less incentivized to take the Cecil. Like if you only have a light sword, it's kind of like characters. Hey, I like this character. Wait, do I have anything for him? That's kind of the dilemma that occasionally happens once you stumble onto the characters routing a seed.
And our tracker sheep launcher pointed out that the two characters we've not found are the two sages.
Well, I mean, when you find the mop, the seed is already done. Tella, I think Tella in this flag set is kind of interesting. I think there's still use for him, but I almost think that, especially with Bishop, when you have a sea hero, and you know so basically you know who your anchor is. Tella's value diminishes sharply, especially if you have like a fast anchor, particularly Edge. He's not gonna get it. Might not even get a turn in some cases. So I'm not saying Tella is going to be the real anchor, but you may have to think of someone to replace him at some point if once you've passed the point of the utility that Tella normally brings.
But we see, oh no, our party is perishing. Whatever will we do?
Kill yourselves. Sudoku, something like that. That's fine. Or you couldn't kill yourself. Why? Typically, you sometimes you want to have occasionally want a kamikaze hanging around just for these things.
Our party's doomed. Doomed, I say.
We'll take our leave and be quiet. Just for let DJ Speedy B do his thing.
We'll let Eddie save us with his music. Well, we found the hook.
Yay! Underground access. But yeah, that was a nice rendition of Portal. The music. I think it was endgame music.
That is still alive. This is the ending theme to Portal.
So, and we are also nearing the end of the scene, ironically. So, hope. Though I don't know. I think I may have to at least reevaluate some equipment before setting up for the final boss battle.
Also, the hook being there means that Twin Harp was hard required.
I mean, yeah. This. So.
Delbort's just going for it.
All right. I think. I mean, right now. I mean, we could just have Cecil and Edge just do the work, and just.
Yeah, we have Rose on. We have Rose on Cure 4 duty. This should be good.
Still
But
have
we're
to-
seeing some Z flags now.
Yeah, I guess it's time to go to bed. That's. I mean, 26-letter alphabet associated with going to bed. That's all I know about Z. Is that what it's for?
I can think of a few other things about Z. In this case, we're asking about Zeromus.
Yeah.
And he is too big, too scary. We can't move him. So we're gonna let him dress up. And I think we have one last question to ask before we start this fight.
Yep. That question being, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? And it comes with side questions such as, is it cute? Does it have a hat? How is butt?
I'm hoping for Pink Puffness just because it would be funny.
That would be good to round off the season. We'll have to see quickly what that is.
Oh, instead we get a Mimic.
Surprisingly, such a monster doesn't exist in Final Fantasy series, but has been in other games. So I don't know which game.
I think this is a Dragon Quest Mimic. Kind of looks like one.
Probably. I think I've definitely seen some Dragon Quest stuff, and that nuke. Sorry, poor him. Not enough HP. It's unfortunate. But no, that nuke can range up to 2400 because nuke has a high spell power and has wide enough range. So yeah, it can kind of one shot any character when it feels like it, and it can.
And look, we see Edge and Cecil both doing about 4,000. Eddie's probably not walking off this Big Bang.
Barely.
Oh, Eddie with the dodge, or getting a dodge roll and a bit of luck.
Yeah, because I mean, 1200 is the kind of the cap for a nerfed Big Bang.
Mhm.
So getting 7 kind of enough, and probably with 10 HP to spare. I mean, just like all things, you only need 1 HP to survive, and that's a thing. So it looks like Dumbware's decided, Edward, you just do what you can. If you live, that's cool. If you don't, well, so be it. It can quite be difficult to get the nerf in the second after the first Big Bang, as kind of a small window to get it through, like the shake, but you have to wait kind of a quick, not like a turn that Z does nothing in, so it can be tricky to get the nerf in. So, and that's after surviving the counter nuke that comes with it.
Yeah, I think this crystal's early if you're trying to nerf.
Edge might not live this. That could be. Well, he barely lived through it, but might not survive the Big Bang that follows if it's in time.
That may also have been a fake shake, and we're completely safe.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's in the kind of the middle of it, so, especially with Berserkers, they do enough damage to cause a second shake, like without doing a Big Bang, because it's gone into the second phase. There's the initial phase, first phase, second phase, and then final phase. So it is possible we've already reached second phase. If Rosa, probably still with the heroine robe. That's why that Cure 4 looked more like a Cure 3 in terms of numbers.
It is helping in keeping turn parity, which is still very, very useful.
Yes, yeah, there is some value to it, and Cecil probably being the ideal character will be able to take it. Yeah, probably that's still that's
This is
too
nerfed.
large.
This should be nerfed, so the rest of the party is safe.
Yeah, for a moment there would be panic, but it needs to heal. It needs the immediate heal. That's good. Because
Good
that
news,
was
yeah, good news. We had it queued, so everything's fine.
crisis averted for now till Rock's phase, which shouldn't be too far from shouldn't be too long.
The good
And
news is, we got Black Hole coming up next.
Yeah, that's always a kind of a large disruption because that means all of Berserkers need to be berserked again, which you're seeing right now.
And once this Cure 4 fire as well, have enough HP that we're out of Meteor range.
Yeah, to survive Meteor, you need to have realistically slightly over 1,000 to kind of be safe enough. And that's a nuke that's part of the script, but it's not something. And Z likes to take down Porm. It seems wrong. Seems unfair.
Z knows who the real threat is here.
Yes. And rocks are following. And so we are near the end. When radio phase means that Z has under 12,000 HP, so that's only a few more swings away.
And that is a crack bang boom, and Delbert has won tonight's race with a time of 1 hour 43 minutes and 31 seconds.
GG's to Delbert. I mean, an edge hero seed can always be chaotic, and so it takes quite a bit of skill to navigate through kind of the boss situation where edge makes the bosses kind of buff them in a way in most cases. So, and it's always risky to take it. It's always risky to have edges as a seed as an anchor when you have no control over it. Ninja shouldn't be too far behind. Looks like it's Ogo, so probably.
Yeah, this is at the Crystal Sword altar.
Probably skipped out on the Mura altar, where we found the harp. So.
I think we're clearing just from
bottom up. I think, right?
Well, we did ribbons, so we may just be going back up.
Yeah, so we'll probably bump into the Murzim altar pretty soon, so it shouldn't be too bad.
And that's where the Pinktail is. Unfortunately, we know that Pinktail can't be turned into a twin harp.
So okay, so it hasn't done the Ogo spot yet. Interesting. So okay, so I guess we didn't have to actually do harp given the situation. A lot. I don't typically see people fading Wyvern if you're already at the bottom. So, but maybe. I think did Dubward do the Mura altar first before doing everything else? Because that might have been it.
Dubward did the 3 at the bottom, then came back and did Mura.
Okay.
And speaking of Dubward, we're joined by Dubward's GG's Dubward.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. GG's to y'all, man. This is some powerful comms, I bet.
So, what were your thoughts on this seed? Edge hero in this flag set?
Well, I haven't really had a chance to mess with these flags yet, but the club season's kind of given me some practice on the C hero for sure. But yeah, you get an edge hero, edge start, you just know you're like, all right, well, mages gotta go, and you're gonna be super speedy at the end, so you better get some heavy hitters. So it is what it is. I figured anchoring was out of the question, so just put the pedal to the metal, I guess.
Makes sense, Edge. Edge, honestly, one of the trickier heroes to play around, and you handle it well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to get any weapons for the guy. Obviously, I was desperately searching for anything. I probably routed poorly. I'm not too familiar with these flags, but yeah, I didn't know when to step on, Castle Eblin for loot. How many trap chests to take. I just figured, well, you're gonna have to level everybody anyway, so you're just gonna go through it. Just take every fight you can get, and yeah, it was really good. I'm not
Yeah,
mad at Chiro. Go ahead, Dad. Sorry.
No, that's all right. You were I think you were the only one to actually do parade Castle Eblin. I mean, you got Swords of Bear, and then I think the seed handed you all the Hanzo seals you could ever want.
Oh, at the end, yeah, right at the end, they're like, "Oh, here you go. By the way, everything you touch after you've finally found the ninja swords, and you got the forge out of the way. Now every key item check is going to be a Masamune, especially a vanilla Masamune." So. But yeah, finally at the end we found some sort of gear for the guy, which, like I said, was getting kind of scary there for a minute. But grabbed some darts when I could, and yeah, just tried to utilize all the AoE I could. I was, figuring I didn't know what to do with Rydia. I figured she was the first one to be out if I found that Cecil after the Crystal Sword. I knew Eddie was kind of on the edge too with that spoon and nothing else, but I was like, I'll run it with just hitters. But yeah, overall, like I said, not too familiar, but for first couple of seeds on this, I don't think I did too terrible. I think routing wise I did okay, and yeah, I could have cleaned up here and there, but over looted a little bit. 100 treasures, that's kind of a lot, but again, searching for something, and unfortunately, damn near full cleared. But overall, I'm not mad. Not too mad. I'm glad the fades that I took were not too devastating.
Was there a concern? I think you kind of faded Fade March a little early, and I think you came back to it a little later to clean up. What were your thoughts? I mean, obviously you were hard required to do Fade March, obviously, with the Darkness Crystal on the King spot.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, yeah, you walk down there and you peek it and you see how free it is. Plus, I think it just picked up coffins in the shop. I think I kind of wanted to look around for a little bit a better team, I think, before I tackled it. I knew I could take it at that time. I think by then I had the Leviathan summon on Rydia, or maybe I did. Or maybe I just had Rydia. So I was like, I know this is free, I know this is easy, but I'm not going to run the risk of doing it early, wiping to it. My biggest fear would be wiping to these fights here and there. So I was like, don't risk it just yet. Let's go check some other free spots. We had the pan check still, do maybe some overworld, but yeah, like I said, I saw it and I was like, oh, that's super free, but just not yet. I knew I could take it one shot at least when I came back. So when I came down there, I was ready to go.
So you are Pink Puff League champion this season.
Yeah, man. Following in big footsteps there, Dave.
You got other footsteps, probably bigger footsteps to follow, but that's
Yeah, man, this was another good season, man. I had a lot of fun with these Pink Puffs, but I guess the time has come. They got to kick me out eventually. But yeah, I can't. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that participated, and we had some really good new players that showed up this season. I think one of them joined a week before the season even kicked off, and just started destroying people right off the bat. Like we had a lot of good people here this league this season, so that part will be missed. And obviously, yeah, thank you to Asuka. Asuka runs a fantastic club, and like I said, it will be missed. But I guess we all gotta grow up sometime.
you'll always be a Pink Puff at heart.
For sure, for life, Dave. I've said it countless times. But yeah, thank you too. I'm sure, like I said, watching this back, I'm sure this is a wealth of knowledge on the restream. Powerful comms. Thanks, Sheep Launcher, for pushing the buttons, and Grunt rolling something that wasn't too terrible. That Odin had me kind of sweating for a minute. I'm glad I didn't take it at Cape Bahamut. But yeah, thank you guys. This was fun. And GG's to Ninja, by the way. Bravo to him. Second place. Take it. well deserved. He's going to do really well in the tourney.
And hope to see you doing well in this tourney too.
We'll see. I think I'm just going to stick to the tracking. I enjoy watching it, and just kind of take a break. But yeah, it's sure to be fun. It's very interesting. The team dynamic is a beautiful concept, I think, and the dual flag sets. It's gonna be very interesting. So, yeah, good luck to either of y'all in it as well. But yeah, otherwise, I got a 5-year-old I should probably feed.
Yeah, take care of your family.
Yeah, man, I'll let you guys get back to it. Thank you guys again, and yeah, thank you Free Enterprise. It's been a blast. Y'all have a good night.
GG's again, Dumpert.
Thank you.
So that was interesting. The E-Ninja has the pink tail, but does harp anyways.
Well, you kind of need the hook to turn the pink tail, and that comes from harp.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was like, oh yeah, hook. I guess it is hard required, but kind of routed the kind of the key layout. It kind of worked out like that. So it's a kind of yeah. It's like, hey, here's an objective you don't have to do because it's gated so far deeply that you'll do it if you have nothing better to do.
Yeah, the hook variant being behind the twin harp, the pink tail being a crystal sword. You're not finding that before you have the crystal.
So Dubbert is showing what is at the treasury. I see lots and lots of junk.
It's max your 5 out of 10. It's pretty much a rating of every treasury in this flag set.
So it's I mean, at this point you've had all the stuff that you would have gotten anyways from that treasury. So it's kind of that's kind of one of the aspects of this flag set where everything is capped at tier 5 outside of trap treasure chests. So you kind of the value is not quite the same as you normally want a treasury to be.
We do have a second place finish off stream. Lord Goober finishing at time of 1:54.06.
Yeah, this I think we're about to see many of our Pick Buff racers off stream rolling in. This is, I mean, not too shabby of a seed, but again, chaotic because Edge Hero is a tricky thing. But E-Ninja does have kind of all the levels required. I mean, this is super safe given what he's been handed.
We've got 4,000 on Kane, 34, almost 3,500 on Edge, Rose at 3,150, Torb at 3,150.
Yeah, super safe. I mean, they could still go down to a full Big Bang, but you could I think that also they definitely have all their power spells. So it might be that we're going to see complete hybrid strats from Zerkers doing their thing and then reflected a white or nukes back onto our boss, which shouldn't be too long. As I kind of love reflecting spells. Is there might have a chance of still triggering the early kill, as reflected spells do not trigger the secret refill.
Wait, are you saying there's some fancy scripting going on to give Zeros more HP?
Yes, because you can only store up 65,000 for a 16-bit value for HP, but creative minds knew how to just secretly refill. This is the kind of thing you'd see that you kind of see in earlier in the elements spot, or at least the elements fight, where there's like 2 separate bosses, so they have their own separate HP pool. This is it's kind of the same idea, except it's a free refill, but triggered by counter scripts based on the current HP zero sets. But since reflect strats ignore triggering any sort of counter script, that means we can only have to deal with the HP Z. Actually starts with like 62,000, so that's kind of where it's at. You don't have to as long as you reach that threshold, you don't have to worry about the refill. And sometimes it might take luck, but if you can kind of get like both whites and nuke in under that threshold, with that you can still trigger an early quick Z death.
We see ninjas pretty much just going with let the Zerkers hit things.
I mean, it can be tricky sometimes to navigate casting spells. Like many races try to lower their battle speed so that their spells are queued within reason. Battle speed 1, eats ticks pretty quickly to the point where things can easily go awry, just on how things turn out. So when you're not exactly as confident with casting spells at BS1, and sometimes it's tricky as it is, and sometimes you want a safer Z fight. So it's understandable trying to go this route. I almost think that the forgotten save probably at least 10 minutes maybe. It's hard to recall how much time that was, but it's obviously significant amount of time though.
Yeah, it was the 2 Baron Castle fights, pan bonking, checking Baymarch, and going up the first trap chest in battle. So 15-ish minutes, I'd say. 15 and 20, somewhere in there.
So yeah, that's probably the difference here. So I mean, sometimes if you're not sure, you're not comfortable, you want to save before you try on something. As sometimes there just some fights, especially when you're racing, you want to save as few less often as possible, just because the act of saving is 15 seconds, 30 seconds, just going through the screens. But that is sometimes you do so much, but we've reached rock phase and shouldn't be too long.
Now with this part, you would take like 4 Meteor casts to drop Kane.
And that's if they all hit.
Or we see the crack bang and Ninja finishing in 4th place overall. We did see a 3rd place finisher, Soapbox Gamer.
GG's to Ninja and Soapbox Gamer and everyone who is running the seed while this is going on. So GG's to everyone. Wow, this is a 17 out of 17 seed. I mean,
it's gonna be a heavy clear just because of where your last 2 key items were hiding.
Yeah, these are not bad times considering how much this seed kind of almost required full clearing of everything. I mean, yeah, both runners effectively faded K value, but you pretty much had to clear everything else.
Right, because you had to do the top of the moon, or you had to do the Meralt, or you had to do the Monster because it's an objective. White Spear had your boss hunt.
I mean, moon not haunted. That's. I mean, yeah. Sometimes there's the moon has like a couple objectives, but sometimes, but
And then sometimes it has 4, like this seed.
yeah. So it's the randomizer being what it is. You can't. It's nice when you can fade moon, but this wasn't one of those seeds.
And the real bonus was hard required harp, so we were getting music.
Yeah, well, it's always quality play, especially with Portal being a thing. And it is a cute tune, that is for sure. Harp tunes, there are vast number. I think we've reached like around 500 or so now. So there's just
Xenocat's been putting in work on the harp tool.
Yeah, there's. Okay, I think we're kind of waiting a little bit for seeing if we can get eNinja for an interview, and we might.
That was 2 hours of racing. There may be a short break before the interview.
It's fine. It is a. I mean, given what eNinja just went through, I mean, kind of need to catch your breath a little.
The flame dog in the trap, I don't think casts flame.
No, it's that's the lead, the thing that leads off with all the time. Actually,
No, the one that gets summoned.
Oh no! I think it has to be alone. I think you mean trap treasure, the one with the siren. I think the flame comes when it's alone. I don't remember the exact script. The trap one in Tower of Zot is always flame first, and maybe a few punches, and it goes back to flaming. It's the Zot one. The flame dog script is special in that it has a trap chest specific script. It's kind of
I looked it up. There's the special formation index that has fire, then 4 punches and repeat, and then the script for normal flame dog is use fire if alone.
It's there are two. I don't try to remember if there are any other trap chests like the flame dog, and I'm thinking no, but it's just one of those things I'm forgetting. It is kind of unique. That the flame dog is very unique in that sense because it has its own battle script just for the trap chest. It's quite amazing that way.
I'm reading the race spoilers chat right now. That wyvern in the waterfall was very explosive.
I mean, wyvern being taking a shower wasn't happy about it. I mean,
it apparently lost its temper and blew up.
Yeah, I always get amused which burn does once in a while. Just this one thing. There's this. It's actually been curated. The randomized spells have been curated. There are certain spells that are not in the pool, and with unsafe not on the table. I think something like Meteo, I think Big Bang to a degree, maybe a few other spells, and then spells which are lethal. They're only split between rows, so if it's front row or back row, that takes the hit.
Zantetsuken, I know, is on the list.
Yeah, it's Zantetsuken is just basically I think it's just Quake level spell effect. I think it's the same spell power as Titan.
Right, but it can't be reflected or floated.
Yeah, that is the tricky part. When you can't block a spell, that's why gets on a restricted list because we don't want people wiping on really nasty spots like CPU where the spell power can devastate any party.
Like Quake is still fine because at least float gets around it.
Yeah, you can always usually use float. Although not every spot you have, like early game, your access to float is very limited. I mean, there's like Fu, after ordeals. So, but if you've gained a reasonable enough levels that you have access to float to deal with a wyvern that might cast a quake. I don't think, but I mean, there's a lot of spells a lot of spells accessible to a wyvern, and that includes all the, or at least most of the boss spells, which can be pretty nasty. I mean, there's breath. Breath is probably just as nasty. I mean, you might see that in like the double dragon, not Bimmy and Jimmy. No, these lunars, with the breath in their script. That is what wyvern can do, which can be amusing.
Or as I was saying before, was doing a seed where wyvern decided to charm wyvern's opening charm hit my Rydia, and she decided to quit my entire party. Well, that is an option.
Yeah, that's a good time. I think Rosa learns 30. I think float at 32. But that's a regular. If it's J spells, it's much higher. I think it's a little bit higher. So,
okay, we haven't heard anything regarding interviews, so I believe we are just going to we're going to be done here.
Yep. We are sending you off to Flossie Fern, who's running the potion party, the other flag set that complements the Moonveil mixer. So that will be just as exciting. There's also tomorrow community race. We're pretty much running the same flags at 10 p.m. Eastern. So there will be more free enterprise tomorrow. And
yeah, it's almost like we're getting ready for a tournament or something that we're running these flag sets.
You don't say. Well, I hope to see you. Well, hope everyone has a good night, and hope to see you all next seed.